Hey, Mr. Mergantz. My wife told me a little bit about the shutters that you're interested in. I really love this office, this little small town feel that the law office that you have. And you kind of know everybody around the square. Is it something that's kind of a close-knit thing?
Well, we are, and thank you for stopping by, Mr. Elder. You can call me Jake.
All right.
All my friends do.
I will, Jake.
We are kind of close around here. We have a couple places to eat. I always go every morning, kind of hear the town gossip, if you will. And I love this old square. Got a lot of friends out here, different lawyers around, different clothing shops, just different shops around town, and have a good time here, man. I really enjoy being here.
That's awesome. I really love this little community that you have. It's pretty awesome. Would love to have lunch, later on after the appointment. This is a great little place. It reminds me of Granbury, Texas, where me and my wife had our first anniversary out there.
Really?
Little square and courthouse in the middle, and so it's real reminiscent of that. So I really like that. So the shutters that we're looking for, that you're kind of wanting, what are some of the things that you're wanting for those to accomplish? Is it light control? Because there's basically 3 different reasons that people get window coverings. Either light control, aesthetics, or they want to insulate from the heat and that type of thing. So which one of those kind of fits what you really need from the shutter?
Well, as you can look around my office here, I had absolutely nothing to do with decorating, I'll be honest with you.
Right, we both married up.
Hey, my wife came in here and did everything, and I think it looks really good. I'm not just saying that because she's not even here.
Sure.
But I want these shutters to really bring out the decor that she's brought in, the theme that's going on here.
Sure.
And I believe shutters, along with letting in some light, and like you said, being that extra barrier, will be a great first impression for my clients. My clients need to see a nice office and meet me as somebody they can trust. And you just want to give a good first impression. There's nothing like messing that up, as we both probably have done before.
Right. So if I'm hearing you correctly, you want to block some light. Want to kind of control the light a little bit better as the sun's coming in. Mm-hmm. And another important thing that you mentioned was that you wanted to match the decor in the office. You wanted to make sure that it kind of tied everything in. And like I tell people all the time, putting shutters on your windows is like putting furniture on your windows. It's not the same as blinds or shades and different other options that you have out there. Putting shutters on your windows is really something that'll dress it up, especially here in this setting. People come in and kind of feel comfortable and feel like you're successful, feel like they can be successful with whatever problems you're working through with them. And so if I understand correctly, to match the decor and kind of tie it all in together, which your wife has already made look so good, that's an important factor. And also to be able to knock out the sun and the cold and the heat, to help with that type of thing.
Right.
A shutter has one of the best R values that you can buy. If you want to block all the heat from your house, you just put a bunch of 4x8 piece of plywood up there if you wanted to, but nobody's gonna no wife's gonna let their husband do that. But that would block a lot of the heat, right? But it looked terrible. But a shutter is thick, it's the wood, it's real thick, so it helps with that a lot.
Is R value, is that radiant?
Yes, the radiant barrier that it provides. I'm sorry, I should clarify that. No. So, okay, well, if you don't mind, I'd like to kind of come into my presentation and kind of show you what I've got to try to meet some of those needs for you. Would that be okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see
okay,
what you
great.
got.
Yeah. So, all right. So, the plantation shutters, there's basically 3 different types of materials we can put on there. We've got a faux wood material, but to match the decor that you have, I think we need to move on to wood, because it's
faux wood sounds like fake wood to me.
It is. Faux is fake in French. So those genuine faux pearls that came out back in the 70s, right? It was genuine fake. So yeah, so faux wood. And some people call my office and ask for foxwood blinds. It happens 3 or 4 times a year. It's can't read faux, F-O-U-X, right? So yeah. So anyway, but faux, yeah, it's fake. So it looks like wood. It functions like wood. especially when we're doing whites and creams and that type of thing, you can't really tell the difference between wood and faux wood because of how well the shutters are made. But when you're talking about matching a stain, there's no substitute for real wood that's stained. This is not. There are just now coming onto the market some faux wood stained shutters, but they don't. They look really bad. They look real plasticky.
Yeah, I don't want
Might put those on like an outdoor area if I didn't really, but still, there's nothing. There's nothing that can compare to a real stained wood shutter. So the faux wood is great for whites and creams in your home somewhere. Maybe in the back of the business, in some of the lunch and break room areas if you wanted to do that, or some of the other places that didn't have the stained wood. But in here, I think the stained wood would be the best. So we've got the faux wood, the stained wood, and then we've got teak wood. Our teak wood is just it's a harder wood, and it can also be custom stained to anything. So if we can't find a match to match the stained trim that you have and the furniture in the room, the floor and everything, and tie all that together, we could do a custom stain. So we could take a Sherwin-Williams deck, and paint a piece of wood, send it off. They could remake the stain, send it back, sign off on it, and you can have custom match shutters to your office.
That would be something you would do. I wouldn't have to stain it myself.
No, sir. No, we would take care of everything. It's sanded down over 5 times and then coated, with lacquer and everything. I'm sorry, lacquer, polyurethane, and it looks absolutely phenomenal. It's just like putting furniture on your windows, like I mentioned before. So I think that based on the colors that we're looking at, that we can match it with what I already have, and you won't have to take the extra time for the stain shutter or pay the extra surcharge for being both in the most expensive line that we have and having that extra stain made. So I think we can avoid all that if we can find a color that's really good. And what's good about matching a color is that shadows and overcast, light coming in, all that kind of stuff. It really you never have it in the exact same light right next to the exact. In wood, what's good about wood as well is that you have dark places in the wood where the stain got on there a little more. I've seen lots and lots of offices that I've matched that the trim looks a little different than the floor, and the window seat looks a little different than the French doors and everything, because a little bit of wood variances cause a little bit of a different color. So we can get really close. Nobody's ever going to walk in and say, "Hey, I see you went cheap on the shutters over here," and they don't match. It won't happen, I promise you. So we can really make that match and make that good. So based on on that, the frames that we talked about, we walked over to the window, and I showed you how they fit in there as far as around the window, and some of them fit, like I said, the Z frame fits in and the deco's on the outside. I think we both agreed that the deco frame would be the best fit, because this is a little older building, looks great, this town square feel, but some of the windows aren't quite square.
Oh, tell me about it.
Yeah, so if we, the legs on either side a little bit shorter, longer, that deco frame goes on the outside as a perfect made shutter.
So it's gonna look square. It's
gonna look square from the front. No. Shutter's not made crooked to fit your crooked window. It's made square to fit over the top, and it hides everything. It's gonna look beautiful, and it's all the same. So all 3 of these big windows here are gonna look exactly the same. So even if there's the variances like there were when I measured, it's gonna look perfect. It's gonna look really good.
Well,
so
there's definitely some creaks and some shifting going on in this old building, but yeah, it would be nice if they covered it and it was square.
Right, and the divider rail that's on the shutter. The divider rail, as when the shutter's up there, you've got the shutter like this, the door here. The divider rail goes right across the middle here on the window sash, and it allows you to shut the louvers on the bottom of the shutter and have the top open. So your secretary can get it here in the front here as you got people coming in, 30 minutes early or whatever it is, whatever her normal schedule is, get the coffee going and all that. And she can let light come in and have the bottom shut and not be completely open for business and not let people see everything that's going on. Okay. It's a really nice feature to be able to block the bottom part of the shutter from the top part of the shutter and give you a little more light control. Because if you don't have that divider rail, it opens the whole shutter or you shut the whole shutter. But with that divider rail, it's called divider rail. It divides it so you can open the top and then
So
open the
does it
bottom.
have I guess the rail that goes straight up and
Is
down
it
and
the
lets
lift
you
bar?
lift
The lift bar
Oh,
lets
lift
you
bar.
lift the top or the bottom.
That's where the slats go up and down.
Yeah, the louvers
Okay.
they flip up, and those the elliptical louvers that I explained to you before were the elliptical louvers. They're shaped like an airplane wing, so that when they shut on top of each other, they shut real. So this part of the louver is smaller than the middle part of the louver, so that when they shut on top of each other, they go closer together. They're not just blocked up, and so it allows the shutter to shut tighter and allows it to block out more light that's trying to come in. And so it's a really nice function to the louvers and to the shutter. So looking at all three of these windows and looking at the different the features that we've talked about, this we've come up. We've got the outside edge one, the biggest one in the middle, the big picture window, and the other one we've got the divider rail. And over here, I would kind of suggest that we would do. You can do a left and a right door. You can open them up left and right.
Yeah.
Same thing for the middle and then the outside edge as well. One thing we could do, because the outside edge windows are smaller than the middle ones, we could do single panels there and a double panel in the middle. It may give you a little more light, a little more openness on the outside
What
edge.
does single panel mean?
So the shutters, they open up on a hinge. And so the frame that we talked about has hinges on it, and the panel, the shutter panel, the louvers that you're opening up and down, it can open up to the left or open up to the right. So it can be one big door in the window to the left or one big door to the right, or you can have two smaller doors that are left and right.
So for the little ones, you recommend the big single door? That
Yeah, the
opens
single
up
door.
on this
Yeah,
side, and
correct.
this will open up
Correct.
this way?
And then the big one, because it's a picture window and you can see the town square, and it would be nice if it was one, but it's too big. It's too big to be one because the louvers would sag and fall, and it would not be under warranty.
Well, I kind of like the idea of going to my window and opening it up like that anyway.
Right. And when you do that, I would say that probably most of the time you wouldn't be able to do it, just because, like we see here with the coffee table here and the chairs for the clients to come sit down, it's not real practical to open the doors. But when you go to get there to clean it or something like that, it's going to be easy to get to, and much more practical to get to.
Well, with that divider rail, could you at least open the top part, or would it still
So
be
that's called-
too
that's
close
called-
to the ground?
That's called a double hung shutter. So a double hung shutter has two doors that open from the top where the divider rail is, and two doors that open on the bottom.
Okay.
Just the divider rail is just two doors, each door left and right, and those doors are divided. So it's only two doors, it's not four doors. So so you could do double hung, but again, I caution you to do double hung because it's a really cool idea, but it's extra money, and it's something that as you're busy and clients are here and this and that, the one or two times a year that you walk over there and are able to open the top part to get that view and then shut it back, I don't know if that's worth the extra money that you have to put into it.
Okay.
And you'd have to do those to the other shutters as well to make the same look. You don't want to make it look different from the other windows.
Yeah.
So we have that option. There's some people that just have to have it. It's mostly in homes, but we're doing commercial. Here in your business, it's not you're not going up to the window and practically opening all the time.
That's true.
So so it's one of those things. So basically, it would come down to the shutters here. Do you think that everything that we've talked about? I mean, you see the needs that we're meeting as far as the light control and the divider rail and the different things that we've talked about. Is that something that if all those things can be met, is that something that that you kind of feel like, yeah, that's a it's a good idea? Would you be would that be something you'd be interested in?
Yeah, I think if we can cover those windows like you're saying we can, especially if we can match the inside of the decor that we already have.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, as we're looking at the windows, the two outside windows are $500 a piece, and the middle window is $1,000. So it comes out for these 3 big windows here, it comes out to $2,000 plus tax. Let me get that up for you here real quick. And I charge $99 for installation. Excuse me. So the total today for all the shutters would be $2264.99.
Okay. Man, I gotta tell you, that's a little more than I was hoping to spend. It really is. I mean, I'm not saying you don't do a great job, and this is exactly the product I'm looking for.
Sure.
But that is a little more than I had in mind. I mean, is there anything we can do about that?
Now, let me ask you a question. What a little more you had in mind, and what had you get some other quotes or some other shutters that were the same exact thing that were covering all these needs that were less expensive, or are we just talking about it was just an idea that you had, or what were you kind of basing that on? What can we do about that?
I knew it wasn't going to be like, you know, some blind, you know, some throw up blind type of price.
Sure.
But I just didn't know it was going to be, you know, a little over a couple $1,000 up, you know. In my head, I was thinking 1,000 or 1,500. I mean, I don't know. I just I knew it was going to cost me some money. I just didn't know.
And we have other things that are less expensive. You know, we've got stained wood blinds that would be probably half that, maybe even less than half that. But they're not plantation shutters. They're not the furniture on your windows, the look that you're going for. So if price is the main thing, you know, we can definitely come down from something like that. But if we did, if we held off on doing the 2 outside windows, and we just did the middle window, would that be something that you could do? That would be something that you'd be kind of wanting to do, like kind of in steps. You know, do the big picture window first, and the 2 outside windows, and kind of break it up a little bit. Would that be something that would work out for you?
Well, yeah. I think.
Stop it! Don't stop it.
I think. Man, you know, my wife, she did all this decor and stuff. I would definitely have to ask my wife before I can do this.
Okay, let me ask you a question. So if your wife said yes, I mean, if your wife said, would you tell your wife about this? I mean, if your wife had already said yes, if your wife was like, Mr. Begans, if your wife said, hey Jake, let's do the shutters, I think they look great, would that put you in a position to be able to do this? Would that seal it for you?
Well, honestly, yeah, I think it would. I think if she was on board, I'd feel she did such a good job on this place. If she was really comfortable with it, I think I would be too.
Okay, awesome. So if she was on board, do you think, you know her better than I do, obviously, would she want to do all 3 and make sure that they match and do it all at once?
Of course.
Or would she kind of want you maybe to pull the trigger on the whole thing if you're going to go ahead and do it?
Yeah, she would want, I mean, if she was liking the idea, she would want all 3 done at one time.
Right, same line of sight, kind of making it all match, doing it at the same time. Another thing that may help out is it takes about 8 weeks to come in. So it's not necessarily financing, but you have 8 weeks to let the feathers grow back. And we only take 50% down right now, and then 50% when we install. So you've got 8 weeks to build that budget back up and knock this out. And you may not have a budget. You may have it all right now. I'm not trying to say that you don't have it. I'm just saying that could be something that can help you out toward that,
Well, it's not having. It's just, I guess, kind of get my head around how much custom blinds cost and not freaking out over the price, just trying to realize, okay, well, you're coming in here and you're custom measuring and doing all this stuff for me, and obviously that's, you gotta make a living too.
Right. No, I understand. So would you feel more comfortable today to move forward if we just did the one shutter in the middle? You know,
Well, I think the way they match, the way they will match. Now, what you're telling me, they'll match this, right? I mean, they'll match the inside.
oh, they'll match perfectly to the inside.
Well, you got me thinking. My wife, if I'm gonna do this, which, and I am, you know, I think I wanna go ahead and get the 3 because she's gonna shoot me if I just get one. It's either don't do it at all or don't. I mean, I can't just get one. I think I'm gonna go for all 3.
Okay. Well, today all I would need is $1,100 down.
Okay.
I always say this: I love cash, like checks, and I take cards. So how would you like to pay for that today?
Cash.
Cash walk, cash speech, man. It
Thank
does.
Mr.
Thank you,
Allen.
thank you, Mr. Brigance. I appreciate it.